You've entered a dimension, not of sight or of sound, but of humor. You've entered my crazy week. Ow! Hey, welcome to My Crazy Week, my main show, the talk show, hosted Tuesdays through Thursdays. If you're watching this now, it's probably Thursday because this was the Wednesday episode. Check out my lights behind me. Woo, that's cool. How do they do this on talk shows? Seriously, how do they talk and drink at the same time? Maybe they're not physically retarded. You know what? Me? Don't insult me. Facebook is a land of half-brewed philosophy, drama, problems, and makeup tutorial. Recently, I entered this land of my own free will. I say that because I'm not being paid to host or advertise for Facebook. Going into this land, I consulted the question box. It's the box that says, share your thoughts. And I left a question. A question asking for questions. That's right, I asked you guys what I should talk about in this episode. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Katie Nooncaster, got the same last name as me. Couldn't be family. Never! Talk about trick-or-treating. I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about trick-or-treating. But I will tell you this. It is the basis of Halloween. Little kids all across the nation are going to dress up as either their favorite character or the most hideous monsters they can think about. I heard the Miley Cyrus costume sold out. Next to Britney Spears, of course. May the Spears be with you. Trick-or-treating is the action little kids get to experience. It's not horrifying until you get that one guy's house that is just redonkulous with flying ghosts, dead zombies, blood and gore, hideous scarecrows, the candy bowl hands that when you try to reach in, it's motion censored and it attacks you. Besides that guy's house, it's usually quite an endearing experience for young children. But lately we have seen an increase in the age of trick-or-treaters. I know, people are gonna argue, don't you know that there's no... The age limit is your heart. It's not your physical appearance or your intellectual levels. Well, I would say, first off, it's pronounced intellectual. Second off, I would say, hey, you know what? You're right. There is no age limit written down in some book of law of holidays. But hey, can you walk up the stairs? If that's the number one thing. If you're in a wheelchair trying to trick-or-treat, you're done. I'm sorry. It's the end of what you're doing. You gotta stop. Become a candy giver, not a candy receiver. Next topic. All right, Michael Seeley. Michael Sell? Michael Seeley? Michael Seye? I'm sorry, Mike. You never taught me how to pronounce your name at the wedding. That's a huge thing that you gotta do. When I get married, we're gonna say, all right, I'm married now. Cullen Noon Kisser. Not Moon Kisser. That was on my tax return. Anyways, Michael says, midgets mud wrestling. Since we're running short on time, I'm just gonna make the argument that, is that even politically correct? And if it is, what kind of midget mud wrestling are you talking about? Midget pony? Midget people? Midget bears? Hey, that's an advertising campaign. Have an epic commercial with two gummy bears, mud wrestling, and Hershey's chocolate. You could totally sell chocolate-covered gummy bears that way. That's a good commercial. Oh yeah, I didn't put that in there. Next topic. Ben Hume, that's an old friend. Hey, old friend. Ben Hume wants me to talk about Picasso. Jade Miller, Torrin Andresen. Picasso. This brings to forefront the true issue of America today. Our inability to properly pronounce and spell words. Don't worry, I've got your back. I know what you're talking about. Pablo Picasso is actually pronounced Pablo Picasso. Americans have a hard time enunciating and iterating their words, both in written and verbal forms. Not a lot of us are verbose, but we are quite verbal. We just don't know how to properly iterate our ideas. So don't worry, Ben Hume, I've got your back. I know what you're trying to talk about. Pablo Picasso. He was an artist who helped invent Cubism. He was born in 1881 and he died in 1973. If you want to learn more about Pablo Picasso, you can go look it up on Wikipedia. Until then, I'll see you guys on the flip side.